The Redtenbacher's Funkestra is a jazz funk band, and sometimes we're more jazzy, sometimes we're more funky. And next year we're going to have our 10-year anniversary of the Funkestra London edition. We play my music, I write the music, it's all original stuff, and we have a core band here in England, in London, which is great. We've got Mike Sturgis on drums, we have Iran Kendall on guitar, Sid Gold on trumpet, Rob Target on keys, Dave Lemina on Hammond organ, who is our special guest who always flies in from the States to play with us, and we currently have Rob Fowler on tenor saxophone. So this is the British band. And when we record, we always invite special guests, and we invite special guests because it's for me a way to connect with all the people that gave me inspiration to write music in the first place, and help me to continue loving the music, and meeting them is always great. So that's why I invite them. I don't invite them of any other reason to have like big shot names. Yeah, that doesn't really matter in our niche market music. So I invite them because I want to meet them, and I want to work with them, and I want to hear what they have to offer in my music. People always ask me, say, Steph, so how do you get all these guys on your record, right? So, and by now I don't actually know exactly anymore how, I don't know anymore how it started, but I think the first people that played, sort of named artists in the genre, I think I knew somebody that knew them, and they gave me the email address or the phone number, and I basically just asked them. I said, are you up for this? And normally people said generally yes, and now as time has passed on, because Pee Wee and they really wanted, because I knew them, I already had a contact, and they already knew about me and hooked me up, but then they said, well, we really want to know what it sounds like, we want to hear the track. You know, they were really wanted to know what else I'm doing in Charlotte. I didn't know, they checked me out on the net. And the nice thing by now is that, but as I said, I don't know exactly how, it probably started with having asked, and now it gets easier and easier, because now people look at my track record and go like, oh yeah, he's going to be cool because he's done this and this and this and this, and he's got 9 records or 8 records out already, and he's worked with so and so and so, so he clearly must know what he's doing. And you ask yourself, how did he start? And I simply started by asking, would you be up for this? I go like, so-and-so gave me a number, I'm doing this record, this is me, that's what I do, here are my songs, would you like to be involved? And people normally said yes, and I want to stress this also, it's not about the money, because, you know, especially at the beginning I had no money, so I couldn't like dash out, you know, massive. So people also were really nice in terms of kind of cutting me a deal and going, well, we see what you're doing, you're passionate about what you're doing. We normally couldn't do it for this, but, you know, for you, because you're a cool guy, we're going to do it for you, which is totally awesome. Because obviously when Billy Joel calls up Andy Snitzer and goes, hey, can you blow on this? He's going to ask like a ridiculous rate, which is probably more than my whole house costs, you know. Bass sound, well, at the time Thief, we recorded the whole rhythm section together in one room, because I wanted the feel of the guys being together. And we recorded at Mono Valley in Wales, fantastic studio, big studio. So we set up in a big circle and made a big record, and my sound was very clear. I played like a vintage jazz bass and a vintage amp, a flip top, the Ampeg flip top. Well, I wanted to play that because unfortunately it blew up after the first day, so I had to do with an Ampeg SVT, an old one, in 8x10. So generally I wanted to go for a amped sound. Everybody was mic'd, and that was important. So my bass sound is a mic'd bass sound rather than a direct bass sound. That was really what I wanted, because a lot of the records I'm listening to from the 70s, that's how they've done it. They were not necessarily DI, they always put a mic in front of the bass amp. I can't hang around and nerd out on my gear, you know. My gear is very professional and it's great, but with old gear you can't rely on it because it might blow up, and it just did on that session. That's all there is, you know. All it was, we played like such hot, steaming, sweltering funk that the thing couldn't take it. Yes. My grooves, the way we play with the band together, and this is not my groove anyway, because a groove is an entity between people. It's not like one guy making the groove anyway. That's nonsense, so I don't believe in that. So of course everybody has a groove, but as a band you have a groove together, and over the years our groove has become better, and there's still you know, over the years it will still get better. It's not technique, it's a mindset, it's a feeling, it's something to do with the heart. It's not like, okay, because I knew my notes before I started the Funkestra, and I still know my notes and I've got my technique, but I'm not looking to playing more. It's actually the opposite. Over time, we all in the rhythm section, or everybody actually is kind of playing less and trying to play what we play less, more meaningful. And that's really hard. You can only do that by rehearsing, playing, talking. This is not technique. This is, it's an outlook on how you want to play this music. What I realize now, because, you know, being, you know, middle-aged now, that there's a lot of musicians coming out of Guildhall, Royal Academy, all these places, young musicians, and they're like, they have the spirit that they're up for playing. So, because I was always cautious, oh, it's too difficult and people don't want to do it. But no, I mean, the young musicians, they come out that they want to play. If you say, I have a funk big band, people will roll up and play for free because they want the experience, they want to mingle, they want to meet people. And when people have this sort of doomsday thing, oh, young musicians, they don't want to play, they're just sitting in the bedroom on the internet and Facebook and do that. And it's not true. I mean, I'm meeting lots of young musicians now, like late teens, or 20s, mid-20s. They're all up for playing, and they do. If you look around, there's lots of places that have jam sessions, people playing big bands, they write music, they try out, they don't worry about the money, they want to play. And if you want to improve, especially as a bass player, the bass is a communal instrument, in my opinion. It's best enjoyed with others. And because to understand bass, you need other people around you. You can't learn about the bass on your own in your bedroom with the best backing tracks in the world. They're really helpful, and you should do your practice with that. But the extra thing is, making music is a social affair. It's not a one-man show affair. I was always lucky that I wasn't clever enough to sound like any of my heroes. I always tried, I never managed. And out of that thing, out of that bastard came its own sound. Yeah, I want to sound like Tower Power. It doesn't sound like Tower Power. Oh, damn it. Never mind. Let's move on. So out of that came my own sound, I guess.